Hi, welcome to my quilt studio. I'm Karen Kuski and I design quilt patterns and make art and custom quilts. My website is quiltpatternsmore.com. A bit of background, I've been sewing since I was very young, and by the time I was in high school I was making most of my own clothes along with some home decor items. In 2000 I took a beginner quilt class and just loved it. So now I only make quilts. When I started quilting, I was doing, more traditional stuff like table runners, bed covers, and throws. Then I gravitated over to the art quilt world because I love designing, and that's where I am now, mostly designing quilts, and they all mostly hang on the wall. Today I would like to take you on a tour of my studio and show you some of my quilts, as well as how I furnished my studio with mostly used furniture that I found at thrift stores, estate sales, yard sales, etc. I'll show you a few pieces that I repurposed to be useful for what I needed. A lot of the ideas you'll see can be used not only for quilt studios, but also for craft or hobby rooms that you may have. So come along with me on the tour and hope you can get some ideas that you can use for yourself. Here's the entrance to my studio. It's downstairs on the lower level. It's a walkout basement. I bought this house because it had the walkout basement and had a nice large space for my studio. So here's a walk through. This is my long arm machine. It's a Gamble Statler Stitcher. I've got quilts hanging on the wall that I'll stop and show you a little bit here. This is a Hoffman Challenge quilt I did a few years ago. These are some of my lighthouses. They're all New England lights. This quilt is one I made when I lived in Colorado, a view of Pikes Peak, which is the view I had from my house out there. This is a collection of Michigan lighthouses. Lighthouses are my specialty as far as pattern making goes. This end of the room is my ironing table, design wall, a few quilts on the walls. Heading on over to the other end of the studio here, I've got my two helpers, Montana and Dakota. They're with me most of the time when I'm down here. I've got a sewing machine table here, a view to the backyard. My work table, which is on wheels. I have a couple folding tables. This one I can just drag over to the sewing machine table area if I need extra surface. Over here on this side is a small kitchenette area, a small sink. There's a lot of cupboards, which came in real handy. This was all here when I bought the house. Just an extra folding table for extra work surface. The file cabinets hold patterns and miscellaneous specialty fabrics. More of my lighthouse patterns. This is a room showing my fabric cabinets. I bought a dozen or more china cabinets at one time and had them delivered to my house. I painted them all different colors. This brown one had a solid wood door. I cut that out and put plexiglass in so I could see what's inside. Those are all my batiks. The blue cabinet is blue fabrics. And this table allows me to lay my quilts flat rather than store them in a suitcase. They like that much better. This other brown china cabinet, or the top of a china cabinet a friend gave me. It's all my long arm threads, sorted by color. And the bottom is just another cabinet that worked, more supplies, patterns. The purple cabinet for purple and black and whites. And this large, I think it was an armoire or a entertainment center. I put fabric on the front door using that Mod Podge, which I'm showing you in a different part of this video. Here's that large cabinet opened up. I mostly store fabric paints, some fabric markers, crayons, paintbrushes, mostly color related stuff for painting fabric. I have some crystals in there. It holds a lot because I made 2 extra shelves out of plywood. I'm going over to this side. I have another sewing machine workstation. That file cabinet I painted, and it's got white and gray fabrics in it. Here's the green cabinet with green fabrics. And over here, the blue cabinet holds landscape type stuff. Sky, water, ground cover, rocks, bricks. Up top, I've got fabric dyeing materials. Yellow cabinet for yellow, brown, and orange fabrics. And the pink one is for red and pink. And ombre on the bottom. Those closet doors are holding my batting. I'll show you that a little later. These cabinets and countertop were here when I bought the house. They come in very handy. And the Mod Podge I've been talking about on different segments that I use to put fabric on my cupboard doors. That's what this is, in case you're not familiar with it. It's a white glue and a sealer. Here's just a long, distant view of the length of the studio. When I moved in, there was carpet all over the floor, or most of the floor in here. So I had all that removed and put down LVP, that luxury vinyl plank. Makes it a lot easier for, well, all my work tables, my sewing machine tables to roll on the floor. Here, one thing I forgot to mention earlier, before I moved in the house and I had some remodeling done, I had extra lights put in down here in this quilt studio. These are all LED can lights, but I had them put like almost every 5 feet. Like I said, there were a few lights down here, but it wasn't enough for a workshop. So for me, lighting was really important because so I could see what I'm working on without having to have a light right at the table. So that might be something you want to consider if you're having a studio built for you or you're remodeling a room. Lighting is very important. I'll be doing a follow-up video showing the detail of how I modified some of my furniture pieces. I hope you'll join me. This concludes the tour of my quilt studio. I hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully you got some good ideas you can use for yourself. If you did enjoy the video, please give it a thumbs up, and go visit my website, quiltpatternsmore.com. Thank you for watching.